More often than not, when things go wrong in our romantic lives, we can be very quick to blame someone else for the problems we face. We sit with our friends over coffee and we say, "Why can't they notice me more?" We complain, saying, "Why can't they be less narrow-minded?" Or, "Why won't they just listen to the words coming out of my mouth?" It is so easy to point the finger. It feels safer to believe that the chaos is coming from the outside, rather than from within. But I want to ask you a question today, and I want you to answer it with total honesty in the privacy of your own heart. Are you putting in the same amount of effort on the table? Can you be just as attentive, just as patient, and just as kind as you expect your partner to be? The thing about relationships is that you do not just learn how to love someone else. It is also a profound experience that teaches you how to be a better person. A relationship is a classroom, and your partner is often a mirror reflecting your own unhealed wounds back to you. But if you are not in the right mindset, or if you are carrying too much emotional baggage, sometimes it is worth postponing the search for a partner. Sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is stop dating and start working on yourself first. To help you navigate this journey of self-discovery, here are 5 signs that you might not be ready to handle a relationship right now. Sign number 1. You put yourself first before anyone else. Now, I want to be very clear here. There is a massive difference between self-love and selfishness. It is healthy, and indeed necessary, when you prioritize your health and well-being. You cannot pour from an empty cup, as the saying goes. But there is a difference between finding balance and just being downright selfish. If you find that in every interaction, your needs, your wants, and your schedule are the only things that matter, we need to pause and look at that. Clinical professor Srini Pillai believes that selfish lovers often suffer from a deep-seated feeling of being inadequate. This is a fascinating psychological insight. We often think of selfish people as arrogant, but deep down, it is often fear that drives them. When they show love to someone, even if it is just a little bit, they start to worry that it will all be gone in no time. They hoard their energy and their affection because they are operating from a mindset of scarcity. Selfish lovers are deeply troubled because they are not self-connected. They feel empty inside, so they try to grab everything they can from the outside world to fill that void. If you notice that you take more than you give to your partner, Dr. Pillai says it is important to confront your own pain. You must recognize the areas you need to develop in. Why do you feel the need to take? What are you afraid of losing? He also states that it is incredibly helpful to focus your energy on hobbies that make you feel more self-connected. This could be something physical like running, where you connect with the rhythm of your breath and the beating of your heart. It could be journaling, where you pour your chaotic thoughts onto paper to find clarity. Or it could be meditating, where you learn to sit with yourself in silence. When you feel full and whole on your own, you no longer need to take from your partner. You can finally start to give. Sign number 2. You are prideful and you think you are always right. Conflict is inevitable in any relationship. 2 different people with 2 different histories are bound to clash sometimes. However, how you handle that conflict says everything about your readiness for love. It is important for both partners to feel heard and understood in a relationship, but factors such as pride can get in the way of that. Do you find yourself treating an argument like a courtroom drama where you must win the case? Do you keep a mental scoreboard of who was right and who was wrong? I want you to ask yourself a very difficult question. At the end of the day, is it really worth being right if you are going to lose someone you love? Is the victory of the ego worth the defeat of the heart? Another reason why some people are commonly reluctant to apologize is because they fear the other person won't take responsibility for their part in the conflict. We think, if I apologize, I lose power. But this is a defensive stance, not a loving one. When you sincerely apologize first, you are changing the dynamic entirely. It lets your partner know that you are not proud of what you did. It shows them that you value the connection more than your ego. It signals that you will take better measures next time instead of repeating the same mistakes. It is important not to emphasize who was right or wrong in the past. That is history. Instead, focus on what the two of you can do to prevent any mishaps from occurring in the future. A relationship is not you versus your partner. It is you and your partner versus the problem. If you cannot lay down your sword and shield, you might not be ready to let love in. Sign number 3. You always depend on your partner to make you happy. Let us talk about emotional independence. Do you get anxious when you are away from your partner? Do you check your phone obsessively? Do you feel generally lost or empty without them by your side? This might be a sign of codependency. We often romanticize the idea of two halves becoming one. But in reality, a healthy relationship is two wholes walking side by side. Ask yourself if you really love your partner for who they are, or are you just emotionally dependent on them to regulate your mood? Love is about appreciation, not possession. It is about witnessing another person, not consuming them. Psychologists state that codependency stems from the lack of self-sufficiency. If you do not feel safe or happy within your own skin, you will try to use another person as a life raft. Since codependency is often rooted in your unmet childhood needs, perhaps you didn't feel seen or secure as a child. Healing it requires deep work. Treatment often involves going to therapy, where you can get in touch with the feelings you have buried for so long. You need to meet your own inner child and give them the safety they crave. As cliché as it sounds, talking things out will ultimately help you get better. Once you confront those deep-rooted insecurities, it also allows you a chance to express them to your partner. You can say, "I am feeling anxious, and it is not your fault, but I need some reassurance." That way, the two of you can create a plan that helps your relationship move forward in a way that honors both your autonomy and your connection. Sign number 4. You expect people to read your mind. This is a trap that so many of us fall into, especially if we grew up in households where communication was poor. We think, if they really loved me, they would know why I am upset. But my friends, love is not a psychic ability. Communication is an essential part of making relationships work. If you are passive-aggressive and choose not to tell your partner what is upsetting you, you are setting a trap. You might be doing this in fear of creating conflict, thinking that silence is safer than a fight. Or you might be doing it to test if they care about you, thinking, "Let's see if they notice my silence." But is it really fair to be mad at the other person when they do not even have a clue what is going on inside your head? They are walking around in the dark, and you are angry that they are bumping into the furniture. To strengthen your communication skills, you must learn to speak your truth clearly and kindly. A great tool for this is to avoid attaching blame when you speak. Use your I statements. For instance, instead of saying, "You are so lazy, I am upset because you never help me with the chores," which puts the other person on the defensive immediately, try shifting the focus to your own experience. You can say, "I am feeling overwhelmed and upset, and I would appreciate it if you can help me with the chores." Do you feel the difference? That way, you can still let them know what you want without pointing fingers, which can often cause your partner to become defensive and shut down. Clear, kind requests are the building blocks of a lasting love. If you expect mind reading, you are preparing for disappointment. Sign number 5. You have commitment issues. Finally, let us address the elephant in the room: fear. Commitment phobia, otherwise known as relationship anxiety, is when you have a persistent fear of relationships. This is a very painful place to be because often, a part of you desperately wants connection. If you think you have this, note that it does not mean you never want to establish a long-term connection with someone. You do, you crave it, but your anxieties are getting in the way. Many past events could have caused this. Perhaps you spent your childhood witnessing your parents getting a messy divorce, and you internalize the idea that love ends in pain. Or maybe you have had an unhealthy romantic relationship in your own past that left you with deep scars. As a result, you might hesitate being vulnerable. You are scared that if you let someone in, the other person will either leave you or disappoint you. So you keep one foot out the door. You sabotage things when they get too close. You run away before you can get hurt. If this is an ongoing issue, it is best to visit a therapist and get insight on how to manage this phobia. You cannot white-knuckle your way through this kind of fear. You need to learn techniques that help you practice vulnerability in safe, small steps. You need to rewire your brain to understand that intimacy is safe. It is okay to be scared, but you cannot let that fear dictate your future. Healing your commitment issues is not just about finding a partner. It is about finding peace within yourself. So, there we have it. 5 signs that might indicate it is time to press pause on dating and press play on your own personal growth. I know this list might feel heavy. It might feel like I am calling you out. But please know that I say all of this with the utmost compassion. We are all works in progress. None of us are perfect. We all have moments of selfishness, pride, dependency, poor communication, and fear. The goal is not to be flawless before you date. The goal is to be aware. When you take the time to work on these areas, you are not just preparing yourself for a relationship. You are preparing yourself for a happier life. You are building a relationship with the most important person you will ever know, yourself. When you love yourself correctly, when you are self-connected, humble, independent, communicative, and brave, you attract a love that reflects those same qualities. I would love to hear from you. We have such a wonderful, supportive community here, and your stories help us all grow. What are some dating struggles you are going through right now? Do any of these 5 signs resonate with you? Please let us know and leave a comment down below. Let us start a conversation that heals. Be sure to also subscribe to Happy Aura for more helpful content on psychology, mental health, and personal development. We are here to walk this journey with you, every step of the way. Thank you so much for watching, for being honest with yourself, and for being open to growth. As we wrap up today, I want to leave you with a few final thoughts to carry with you through your week. It is easy to view these 5 signs as criticisms, but I encourage you to view them as signposts. They are indicators showing you where your soul needs a little extra attention. Think of them like the dashboard lights in your car. When the check engine light comes on, you do not get angry at the car. You take it to the mechanic because you want it to run smoothly for the long haul. Your heart deserves the same care. Let us revisit the idea of the selfish lover. Remember, this often comes from a place of not feeling enough. If this resonated with you, try to treat yourself with extra kindness this week. Do something just for you that has nothing to do with validation from others. Cook a meal you love. Read a book that fascinates you. Fill your own cup so high that it naturally overflows to those around you. When you operate from abundance, generosity becomes your second nature. And for those of you wrestling with pride, oh, I know that battle well. The ego is a tricky thing. It tries to protect us from looking weak, but in doing so, it isolates us. This week, try a small experiment. When you feel that tightening in your chest, that need to defend your position, take a deep breath. Ask yourself, what would happen if I just listened? You might be surprised at how much tension evaporates when you stop trying to win and start trying to understand. If you identified with the signs of codependency, please be gentle with yourself. This is often a survival mechanism learned very early in life. It kept you safe once, but it is limiting you now. Practice small moments of separation. Go for a walk alone. Profound joy in your own company. You are a complete universe all on your own. You do not need another star to make you shine. You shine simply because you exist. Regarding the mind-reading trap, clarity is kindness. It really is that simple. When you articulate your needs, you are not being a burden. You are giving your partner the roadmap to loving you better. Most people want to be good partners, they just need to know how. Give them the instructions. Do not make them guess. It is a relief for everyone involved when the guessing game ends and honest dialogue begins. And to my friends dealing with commitment issues and fear, your heart is resilient. It has been broken before and it healed. It is stronger than you think. You do not have to dive into the deep end of intimacy tomorrow. You can dip a toe in. You can share one small fear. You can let someone see one small imperfection. Vulnerability is a practice, not a destination. Be patient with your progress. I truly believe that everyone watching this has the capacity for a deep, meaningful, and healthy love. But that love starts with the work we do in the quiet moments alone. It starts with the courage to look at these 5 signs and say, okay, I have some work to do, and that is okay. So do not be discouraged. Be empowered. You have the tools, you have the awareness, and now you have a plan. Thank you for letting me be a small part of your journey today. I believe in you. I am cheering for you, and I cannot wait to hear about the breakthroughs you will have. Keep shining your light. Keep asking the hard questions. And remember, the most enduring romance of your life is the one you have with yourself. Make it a good one. Make it a kind one. Make it a forgiving one. The path to self-improvement is never a straight line. It is a winding road with hills and valleys. There will be days when you feel like you have mastered your pride, and the next day it might flare up again. That is normal. That is human. Do not judge yourself for slipping back into old patterns. Just notice it. Acknowledge it. And then, gently, guide yourself back to the path of growth. Every time you choose understanding over anger, every time you choose self-soothing over codependency, every time you choose clear communication over silence, you are rewiring your brain. You are building a new version of yourself, and that version of you is going to be so ready for love when the time is right. Take your time. There is no rush. Love will be there waiting for you when you are ready to receive it fully. Until then, enjoy the process of becoming who you are meant to be. You are doing great. Really, you are. See you in the next video, my friends. Stay wonderful.